That was the coaches. We weren't ready to go. The coaches were still on vacation. They need to come off of vacation, get ready to go to work.
What's it been like seeing the offensive line maybe start to mesh a little bit this year, especially with Dakota and Carlos as guys who don't have game experience?
I don't know if we really started to mesh. Obviously, the first three practices were in shorts.
Right.
Those weren't real practice. First real practice was today, and Thursday will be a better indicator of how everything's going. It's going to be hard. We're going to go 12 practices in a row with the gear on, and 6 or 7 practices down the road, we'll find out where we're at with those guys.
What are you looking for out of them?
Toughness.
Oh, so the jump you guys made defensively last year, particularly I think in the secondary and defensive line, was huge. Do you attribute that to maybe breaking those position groups up and having an individual coach at corner safety?
Fantastic question. I've never had 2 D-line coaches before, and we went to that move, early here for the first time in my coaching career, and I think it's really paid off. I don't think in the years before this you really needed to, based off of the styles of offenses. But now when you've got zone reads and the different styles of offenses that you play, that your interior defensive line are really being coached differently than your exterior defensive line. And then your exterior defensive line changes personnel. Sometimes it's truly a defensive end. Sometimes it's an outside linebacker. Maybe it's a designated rusher that doesn't play on first or second down and he's in there on a third down. And they need specialized information, specialized teaching. And I think it's really, really paid off that you have to. I'd be very surprised and I'm just throwing this out here. I can be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I'd be very surprised if there's a college football team that has only one now. I think the trend is now to have 2, and it's abnormal not to have 2 D-line coaches. It's a good question.
How disappointing was it to see Ed go down? And we saw him out there for the first practice. What kind of happened?
It's disappointing to see anybody go down. Caleb, Ed, all those guys. This is these guys their time to shine, and everybody wants to be out there for spring ball. They say they don't, but they really do because they know they can really cement a position down. The really cool thing is the way we do things is that the summer is still important, and we're always open to change. We're not going to just lock our mind into that this guy is the starter, this guy is second team, this guy is third team. So you always have a chance to improve. So even though you may have a setback in the spring, you're still going to have an opportunity in the summer and the fall to catch up, but it's going to be harder.
What's the concern level with Ed kind of long term, if there is one?
No, as long as I don't want to put his business out in the streets, right. But his injuries are the type of injuries that he should be able to come back from and be full speed again.
Sure.
So that part we're excited about.
Right.
It's just a matter of him healing up so we can go.
Makes sense.
Sort of conversely to Nate, it seems like the linebacking core is a little bit of a position group that's sort of in flux, especially right now with some young guys. What have you seen from like Shaheem and then also those young guys?
Once again, linebackers, physical position, we haven't tackled. We haven't really. Today was our first physical pad practice. 6, 7 practices down the road, we're going to have a better tail. There's a bunch of group of guys. I think they're athletic. I think they're big. I think they're strong. There's a lot of thinking that has to go on in there. And all 3 of those things are going to figure out who's the best guy. And then they're still going to have the development over the summertime. They're going to still kind of have to prove it in the fall.
How much does first, second scrimmage, stuff like that help with seeing guys really go?
It's the game that's important. That's why we scrimmage on Saturdays. Our Thursday practices are really, really physical, and then we scrimmage on Saturdays. For positions, you've got to play without the coaches being out there telling you what to do. That's football.
Scrimmaging this Saturday, or
I might be wrong. I want to say we are scrimmaging 3 out of the next 4 Saturdays. I can't tell you if it's this Saturday or not. I can't remember.
Any gauge on when Caleb's going to be back? How he's doing?
All based on when the doctors tell me he can go.
Okay.
I don't know if you addressed this at all, but I guess where did you leave things with Shy? And I guess you have positional needs you're still trying to fill. You don't really know if he's going to be here next fall. Are you saving a spot for him just in case, or do you got to kind of proceed?
All fair questions, all stuff that's going to stay in-house. The thing I will tell you is that Shy knows. I'm not. There's no gray with us. But I'm not going to put his business out in the street, and we've got to see how it works out.
How's
We're
the
pulling for him. We're pulling for him.
How's the offensive line kind of meshing together this year? New group?
Good question.
Okay,
Steve already asked this while I was
here,
you don't need to re-answer.
okay,
that's fine.
I'm not going to re-answer, but I am going to say this. Here's the thing about those physical positions: O-line, linebackers, guys. We got to get them in pads, and then there's practices where you're standing right behind a guy and, hey, get over here. You're in the wrong gap. Slide over here, and you're telling them what to do. And then there's scrimmages where we're not out there, and they got to know what to do. So until you have those, it's really hard to tell where those guys are really at. But we'll be able to tell you in about 6 or 7 practices.
Follow-up that maybe wasn't asked. How does Coach Gabb, who's kind of a very experienced offensive line coach, play a big role in bringing in new guys like that?
Well, everybody plays a role in that. Obviously, our staff is staff evaluations. A lot of those guys that he's coaching, he didn't get a chance to do an evaluation on, and they're good players. So everybody's involved in the evaluations. Coach Gabb has unbelievable experience, and we really do trust his eye. And I think together we're going to continue to make that group better, and we're always looking for better guys at that position.
What made you want to bring him in last year?
Knowledge.
Just like his amount of experience?
Yes, sir.
Last question for Coach. Pro Day yesterday. Didn't get to talk to you. What do you think about Eric, other guys' performances?
Now you're going to get mad at me. The reason why we let all you guys come into Pro Day is so I wouldn't have to talk about Pro Day. You guys saw him. I thought there were some guys that did some outstanding things. I thought there were some balls that Eric threw that were dropped that needed to be caught. But I thought he looked good. I thought that there were some guys that maybe surprised some people on the things they did. And I think that all of the activity and talking to the guys, all their activity has picked up. And there's a lot of people interested in doing follow-up and further, what do they call those things? Workouts with them after this. All right?